I became a teacher to change the world.
One of the reasons I became a teacher is because I felt like I could make a positive difference in a child's life.
Morning, Holly.
Morning.
When I started teaching, I was so ready. I literally just was jumping with joy. I thought that I would have lots of meaningful learning going on in the classroom. And I thought that since I was so ready for it, that the kids would be ready for it too. And that's not how it worked out.
Once I got into teaching, I found it was nothing like the books. And I realized I had to be a counselor, a social worker, a teacher, an educator. So it was really hard.
I was especially frustrated with behavior issues. And I felt that I was doing everything that I had been taught to do, and it was not working.
My name is Kimberly Whitney, and I've been the principal at Fern Creek Elementary School for the past 7 years.
10-4, is Mr. Connor available for the setup of the sound system?
Mr. Connor has sounds and lights already started, and
Some of the immediate problems that I faced at Fern Creek when I first started was an accountability issue. The state grade was a D school, so part of my job was to make sure that the school's academic achievement went higher.
Our kids come from very rough neighborhoods, and survival in those neighborhoods means I better be pretty tough. I better have very thick skin just to survive. So when they come here, they bring that with them.
The bigger problems were fighting, defiant behavior to teachers, insubordination, not following directions.
It's time for us to leave the room.
No.
It's not safe for you to be here by yourself.
I don't care.
Some students are dealing with death in the family, with drug addiction, with abuse, with so many things in their lives that make coming to school difficult enough. A little kindergartner my first year hit a student in the hallway, and I was working with this student. Okay, what can you do differently next time? And she looked at me with these big eyes, truly thinking she had the right answer, and she said, I could kick him. And right then I thought, okay, there needs to be something else in place here.
I'm a teacher, and I've spent many years in the classroom, and I know what it's like to feel like a police officer instead of a teacher. Traditionally, I was taught, and so are many teachers, that to manage children, you must control them from outside forces through coercion, bribing, rewards, punishment. And for some children, none of that worked, and I'm just thankful I ran into those children. I wanted to come up with a system whereby teachers could perceive conflict differently and use it as teaching moments for children.
My name is Holly Christian. I am actually a resource teacher in charge of teaching the teachers how to implement conscious discipline here at Fern Creek.
What is this? What does that say? Do you know? School, family, jobs. Does everybody in your classroom have a job? The three fundamental differences between conscious discipline and traditional models is: one, it uses conflict as a teaching moment instead of a disruption. Two, it teaches adults and children to control themselves and connect with others as opposed to control everything out here. And the third is relationships govern behavior, not rules.
We do have some new people to welcome.
The early process was sitting down with Becky and truly making the commitment.
Kim, you're familiar with conscious discipline, so you know that this commitment's going to take a lot of inner resources from your teachers. They're going to have to be willing to step outside their comfort zone.
We initially started with making a 3-year commitment that I would stay at Fern Creek and follow through with it.
We're a D school. We're seeing aggressive behaviors. Something has to change.
So as long as I'm getting back at someone, so long as I show them they've got to pay, I can then blanket over the hurt that's inside me. Does that make sense?
We began our implementation of conscious discipline in 2004, and it was a rocky start with learning so many new skills.
There was a huge risk factor in it. Kim is a new principal. She's been here a couple years. Here's Holly. She's come in. She's been here a year. And here are these two women who are going to lead us down this road. And the resistance really was, what if our grade goes down? We can't, our school grade can't drop.
In order to improve academics, every child must feel safe. And these children did not come from safe environments. So we needed to create a sense of safety, and we needed to create a sense of school family. Their sense of family had disintegrated in various aspects.
The area that we knew we needed to implement first was we needed to go to our teachers and say it's okay to let go of all of those other job descriptions that we feel like we need. You know, we feel like we're mothers, we feel like we're, caregivers, we're teachers. And our job at that point became to keep it safe.
I have children who are homeless. I have children whose parents are addicted to drugs, whose parents are in prison. I cannot do my job. I cannot teach when the majority of the children walking through my door are emotionally strung out.
There was no safety in their home life. There was no, as much as their parents would try, when you're living at a shelter with hundreds of other kids, how do you create a safe environment? At first the kids, they resist it because it's not what is natural to them. They're not sure how to deal with it. Or is this one more person that may hurt me in some way?
Hi, my name's Roxanne. I've been at Fern Creek for 3 years, but I've been an educator for close to 30. I'm going to teach you 3 ways to turn bug crazy mad into caterpillar calm. When I first started teaching, I thought that if I was prepared, that the children would sit down and listen to me, and that I would have lots of meaningful learning going on in the classroom. As time went on, I realized that the techniques that I was using were not being successful. And I felt that I was doing everything that I had been taught to do. I was rewarding positive behavior and I was punishing negative behavior, and it was not working. Right now, I need you to close your books, hold them up in the air. When I first started learning about conscious discipline, I knew it was what I wanted to do, and I knew that that's the kind of teacher I wanted to be, and that's the kind of parent that I wanted to be. But knowing that and doing it were 2 different things. Heart to your heart, I wish. The I love you rituals is just one small thing that we do to help children learn to make connections. One of them that we do is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and we change the words, of course, to say what a wonderful child you are. In my opinion, they're going to get the academics because we spend tons of time on that. But if I can teach them to be respectful of one another, to be loving, and to use a gentle touch with one another, what a wonderful place the world would be. What a wonderful child you are. Oh, hug a bug. We need to help children learn to make connections because that helps them to learn to control their impulses so that they can sit and pay attention and learn.
Good morning, good morning. Get ready to start today.
Rarely when you go to training at a school to learn strategies that you're going to use in your classroom, does it carry over into your home life? Conscious discipline has not only changed my life, it has changed the lives of my own children. It's changed my relationship with my husband. The motto that I live by is kids don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. So I make sure that they know how much I care.
My name is Rebecca Connor. I'm a second grade teacher at Fern Creek Elementary School, and I've been here at Fern Creek for 8 years. Emily was in my class 2 years ago. She was new to Fern Creek that year, and she had a lot of struggles going on at home in her life, and they were living at the coalition. She was with her brothers and sisters. She was very angry, defiant.
Leave me alone. I can do it at my own time. That's something I would say, because I was thinking about what was going to happen when I went to the shelter later on.
When she didn't want to do things, she would just clear everything off of her table. I'm not doing it. She would curse at the children.
And I was just scared of being here. I wasn't comfortable. I'm usually worked up trying to fight or something, and I got referrals every day.
Some days I would notice that Emily just needed to go right to the safe place. It was a place where she could go when she felt angry and do different types of breathing techniques to help herself calm down and relax.
It kind of calmed me down, and I wouldn't go after the other kids and be get that nasty attitude. The teachers helped me make a plan so I can improve my behavior and not be so frustrated when I came to school.
Now I see her composed and teaching other students to how to use those conscious discipline strategies. If Emily had gone to another school, I don't think she would be as successful as she is here at Fern Creek. My son, he went to a school where he had to earn 5 apples on a tree, and if Emily were at a school like that, she would never earn an apple on a tree. So imagining Emily in that situation, she would never have anything.
Emily, can you read page 168?
Here she has tools and skills that she can use not just here at school, but everywhere in the rest of her life.
Everybody in the school, even the children, would tell me that I could do it, and I felt good in my heart because I knew that I could do it. I feel like someone cares about me. I do at home, but it's like you get more wish wells and you feel good about yourself.
One of the ways we build the school family is to develop rituals in the classroom and school-wide. We have rituals for welcoming new students, wish well rituals, different rituals that take place in order to make connections with children and adults and children to children.
You were absent, you were gone. We thought about you all day long. You are here and not so far. Welcome back, All-Star.
Now, I don't want the answer. I want you to tell me which strategy am I going to use for the problem I'm going to write.
A turning point for me with conscious discipline was my first connection with the child. We had gone back and forth with each other. She was very angry. I was upset. I started with the I love you rituals. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, what a wonderful child. It made all the difference in the world. She got a trust for me that this was a safe area. It was like a brand new day. And I started to work harder at it and start to do it with some of my other kids as well.
My favorite part of the day is the morning and the afternoon greetings. The structure that we have in place when children are on the bus, they get greeted, they get off the bus, go from one person to another, and the greeting, the making connections with kids is a wonderful thing that truly does help build a school family.
When I first came to Fern Creek, I was pretty well along my little stress journey, and I was seriously thinking about how can I do this. I'm in this now 15 years, 20 years. I can't imagine doing this much longer without burning out, because I really felt, because I would read what the symptoms were of burnout, and I had them. I still thought in my head, oh, I can hang on another year. I'm going to give it another year. That was my little mantra every year. One more year, one more year. If you can tell me the first step in this problem, raise your hand. At the time, my perception of the problem was, yes, if the students would change, if they would just do it my way, then the class would run smoothly. A lot of the ways that I've been dealing with students was based on my reactions, and I was shown by the way that your brain works and the way that the brain processes things. I saw the emotional state I was in most of the time when I was teaching. I began to understand that the only way to change the way things were going in your classroom was to change the way you are inside. And I also was given tools then to help me get out of that emotional state and become more composed.
Stop, take a deep breath, relax. One more time.
I taught myself to breathe, and then I taught my students to breathe, and my entire classroom environment changed.
How can we help each other grow? Sometimes it's hard to know what to do. Wishing them well connects me to you.
I never thought I was allowed to show emotion to the students, even though I was showing negative emotion to them by my reactions, but the love and the warmth and the caring and the building of a school family, those kinds of things, making connections with the students. I never really thought I had permission to do that before. I had to take this into myself to be able to change me, and that's what I want for my students. I want them to be able to see that they can change the way they react to things too, that even though there's a lot of strife and stress in their lives, the reaction to it can change, and there are lots of positives in the world.
Croix crew! Victory!
We're actually asking teachers to make change, and most programs ask or demand children make all the changes. This program asks teachers to change.
The biggest risk that we took as teachers, as administrators, was that idea that we have to be responsible for ourselves, and that letting go of some of that, I have to control everything that happens in this classroom or in this school, that shift had to happen for us to allow conscious discipline into Fern Creek.
So the learning curve of conscious discipline takes time. The simple notion that no one can make you angry without your permission is a huge concept to wrap your head around, that the children aren't making you crazy. You're choosing to be crazy, and you can make a different choice.
You can't just say the words. You can't just go through the motions because the kids are going to know. It really comes from inside, that the love that you have for the child, and it changes your perspective, the way that you see things in your classroom.
What feels better for you? When you're relaxed or when you feel angry?
It's okay to like this job. It's okay to like these kids. It's okay to connect with them. And it's okay for them to misbehave. That's an opportunity for us.
Hi, my name is Wendy Scarlotta, and I work at Fern Creek Elementary. I'm a third grade teacher here. I have a 10-year-old son, Jack. He was attending a Catholic school, and he was at that school, and he was really unhappy. And we just told him to stick it out. But at our school, I saw that my kids were succeeding and believing in themselves when they come from having all the odds against them. Jack's old school, it was more academic driven and not nurturing driven. And here at Fern Creek, we have more of a balance due to conscious discipline. So I pulled him out of Catholic school and put him in Fern Creek this year. Jack's scores have increased, and he feels great. His report card's the best he's ever had, and he's excelling and loving school again.
I wish you well.
Say it with me. Stop, I don't like it when you call me names. Everybody say that.
Stop, I don't like it when you call me names.
Please use my name. Say that.
Please use my name.
We're missing an opportunity. If I get pushed, I want to say, I don't like it when you push me. Walk around me. And the child who pushed is missing an opportunity to learn, oh, I wanted him to move and didn't know the words to say, and I need to say, excuse me, move over, please. And those are just representations of missing social and emotional skills, and we need to grab those moments. I created a simple mat called the time machine, where it steps the teacher and the child through the process of resolving conflicts.
My name is Miriam Adam. I'm the dean here at Fern Creek Elementary. I've been here for about 8 years. Well, the time machine is a chance for the students to go basically back in time, but not through a real time machine, but reenact the situation. The point with the time machine is you go through the process of getting calm, using the star, taking a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And relax. And wishing each other well so that we're in a calm state to solve this problem. You can't solve anything in an upset state. We're now ready to go back in time and fix this problem. So on 3, we're going to say, let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's do it. Then when they do reenact it and they do talk about it, what's their plan? Next time I will. Next time I want you to do what?
I don't like it when you call me ugly.
What do you want her to call you?
I would like you to call me Rachel.
I don't like it when you call me fat. Can you please call me by my name Ashley next time?
The time machine helps the students use their words, use their voices to solve their problems. And that way they're able to fix that problem and then move on with it. Rather than feeling I have unfinished business, this is bothering me, they get to kind of roll back, fix it, move on.
Cosette, is there a problem?
Yes.
What's the problem?
Alex squeezed me too hard.
Oh, he squeezed you too hard. Do you have something that you could say to him so that he could do it different next time? What would you say?
Please next time do it softer.
Can we practice? Okay, show me. Do a soft hug. That's better. That's better. Is that better?
Students are using this skill in their classrooms, solving the problems and staying in the classroom. So the more time is spent learning, the teacher gets to spend more time teaching and not spending their entire time out of the classroom in the alternative room with me.
After about 3 years, it really did change the climate. We really started to see the children having different options besides kicking and hitting and hurting others. They started to be helpful. They started to know, I can go to the safe place. I can be a star. I can balloon. I can drain. All of these things that we were teaching them, they were then starting to use when they got into conflict situations or just a situation they weren't sure how to handle.
So we saw less bullying because we've taught our children to use language to tell how they feel. We saw less violent outbursts and less defiance from our children. We saw more impulse control because we were giving connections to the students and we were teaching expectations of how to be successful in each area of our school.
What is it going to look like with your feet, Christian?
Walking.
Walking so that you have safe feet and can get there safely.
As those behaviors decreased, we also saw an increase of helpful behaviors. Children who were able to connect with each other and connect with their classroom teacher. Children who were able to use language to tell others how to treat them.
Fern Creek was using rules and consequences. It wasn't working. And they shifted to a school based on safety and connection, built on healthy relationships, and the academics soared.
Bring down my 6.
We have seen students more proud of their learning, more eager to learn, a reduction of anxiety, hyperactivity, a reduction of aggression, all of those things reduced, which then allowed the children to learn more. Fern Creek is an example of a school that made a commitment to children, a commitment to each other, and a commitment to ourselves. And it worked.
You take a double E and a great big K, and you have our mighty Fern Creek.
Fern Creek's story is truly building a school family with adults and children that is caring and helpful, that provides an environment where we all can learn and do amazing things. And it truly is wonderful to watch and to see students and adults making choices and taking responsibility and just being so successful in a time that's kind of scary out there, whether it's, in the world or whether it's in their homes.
When we look at ourselves and we say the only person that we can change is ourselves, and to see that success in ourselves then kind of radiates from us to other teachers, to parents, to other schools, we hope.
We will teach as we've been taught. We will parent as we've been parented, unless we can consciously choose to do it differently. And conscious discipline gives us that awareness so that we can choose to do it differently than was done to us. And most people want to do it differently. They just don't know how.